Space. The final frontier. These are the voyages of the Astral Express. Its never-ending mission to adventure throughout the cosmos and new planets, to boldly go where no crew has dared to travel before. Is HonkaiStarRail worth your time? That's what this video intends to answer. I'll be going over my thoughts on the turn-based gameplay mechanics, my non-spoiler thoughts on the story, discussing how friendly I think the game is for free-to-plays, the gacha itself, the music, and my overall thoughts on the graphics on this video. This video is not sponsored by Hoyoverse, but if they do happen to watch this video, I would certainly love to be one day. Wink, wink. The gameplay of HonkaiStarRail is separated into two main areas. The overworld exploration, where you run around and deal with some puzzles, search for chests, or sometimes do a minigame of sorts. It's honestly not that complicated. Heck, even an idiot like me managed to solve some of these on my first try. Now, the gameplay for battles is the real meat and potatoes of the game. At times, there are only up to 3 actions you can do. Your standard attack, skill, and when it's charged, your ultimate. You have up to 5 skill points when you start each battle. This may change in the future, but right now it's 5. Your standard attack will deal damage and restore 1 skill point. Your skill can do a variety of things depending on the character, such as buffing, debuffing, or just using a strong attack. And they always cost 2 skill points, with rare exceptions for characters like Arlen, which doesn't use skill points, but only uses his health. Honestly, it all depends on the character. Your ultimate can be triggered at any time once it's charged up all the way through getting hit, hitting the enemy, or using your skill. The nice thing about it is that it gives some depth as to when you can use this, because you can use it at any time, immediately after your turn or even right before the enemy's turn, giving quite a bit of depth and timing to the battle system. What also helps with that is the elemental weakness system, where if you hit the enemy's weakness bar enough with the correct element, you will delay their turn, deal damage over time, and inflict a heavy amount of damage. Something that matters far more in the late game. Think of it kind of like the weakness bar you would hit in Final Fantasy XIII. Now excuse me as I go Persona 3 myself for having to reference that garbage game. Hey, before we continue, consider leaving a like and a comment down below on other stuff you would like to hear me talk about when it comes to this game. It really helps to push this video to more people, and greatly helps my channel. Plus, as a nice bonus, it gives me a chance to talk with you guys down in the comments. As always, the character designs in Hoyoverse games are incredibly top tier when it comes to the characters. Seely looks absolutely amazing, Welt has never looked so suave yet badass, and March 7th's unique hairstyle and overall design really just catches your eyes. And Kafka is just big dommy mommy energy. Something about those eyes.
Not so fast. Feeling a little dizzy.
You can just... Wait, what? I dominate! Also, they managed to make a robot wearing a jacket intimidating as hell on the level of Berserker from Fate Stay Night. That really says something. I would not say there is anything quite on the level as Mobius's design from Honkai Impact 3rd, and I still think Honkai Impact 3rd character designs are a little better, but these are just great designs. And honestly, the game has you covered in your wants. MILFs, DILFs, lollies, tsunderes, cute girls, cute guys. There is something for everyone here. Not to mention, the game just started, so we are sure to get some wacky designs in the future. But overall, Hoyoverse absolutely knocked it out of the park when it comes to the character designs. The story of HonkaiStarRail starts off with a bang, with a Dami-Mami playing a lovely violin piece as the space station she is on is under attack. After dealing with some of the attackers, she quite literally gives birth to our main character. Don't worry, it actually makes sense. Although, lucky for her, they are born as a grown teenager/adult. Think XJ9 from My Life as a Teenage Robot, for those of you that are old enough to remember that show. It's a classic. So she doesn't have to go through any of the hard part of being a mommy. From then on, we are left to our own devices on the space station and discover that we have some kind of hidden power inside of us. Protagonist energy. From then on, we start to traverse the stars with our new crew. The overall story of HonkaiStarRail is incredibly engaging, with fantastic characters with lovable personalities that you will want to engage with all the time. March 7th being a uniquely quirky girl being one of my favorites, as she is a nice girl, but she also has no time for anybody that tries to walk over her team. All of the main crew has vastly different personalities that really bounce off one another and makes for some engaging moments in the story.
Well, showing you the way is easy enough, Missy, but it would cost.
The glare!
But it would be my pleasure.
The quality of the story, especially for a gacha game, is incredibly high, as it hooks you right from the start with throwing you into an unknown universe. At first there will be terms you don't get, but as you spend more time in the game, it will slowly start to make more sense to you, which actually makes sense in the story because the protagonists themselves is a blank state with no memory of their past, as they were quite literally just born into the chaos of all of this. After you land on the first planet, the plot escalates rather quickly and becomes very interesting very quickly. And it ends up with such a strong bang that I dare call it Hoyoverse's greatest opening act or arc they have ever done. For you Hoyoverse fans out there, yes, I would say overall it is stronger than Genshin's Mondstadt segment and the Hershira Void Awakening arc in Honkai Impact 3rd. Though it doesn't reach as emotional for the climax that is known as the final lesson, it comes very close to it. And for an opening arc, that is definitely a measure of high quality. Throughout this review, other than the opening, I have been using music directly from the game itself. This one in particular is against one of the tougher story bosses in the game. And overall, I think the music is very good. It's got a variety of different ranges of music, from relaxing, to tense, to atmospheric. It's just all over the place, and there are quite a few tracks I find myself coming back to listen to. The Inside of the Astral Express being a favorite. Unfortunately, I can't play it because that song is copyrighted, and I don't want to have to deal with that. Thankfully, I can change the song in the Astral Express. With the exception of one song that is absolutely amazing that I dare not spoil you of when it plays. But it brought a moment that went from great to absolutely epic with how it was put in the moment. And it easily became one of my favorite moments in the game because of that song alone. The sound effects in the game are also rather satisfying. One of my favorites being the impact sounds when the main character attacks an enemy with a baseball bat.
Rules are made to be broken.
Like, that sounds like it hurts. And I would not want it any other way. It's one of the reasons I love it. It's just so crisp and satisfying to hear. The overall graphics of the game are very good. Nothing amazing when it comes to the backgrounds, but the character models look great. And the animated 3D cutscenes, when they do pop up in the story, and the character attack animations can be very entertaining to watch. How the world looks, though, is just as good. It's not going to be nearly as detailed as something like Final Fantasy VII Remake, but it is going to look nice. Not super detailed, but nice and pleasant to look at. But you have to remember, this is a mobile gacha game as well, so it can't go too hard with the graphics. Would I say it looks better than Genshin? World-wise, no. Character animation and battle-wise, though, yes. And given time, it may get just as flashy as Honkai Impact 3rd, which I am all down for. It looks like an anime game aesthetically all around and looks to be in HD. It doesn't look amazing, but it looks like a good PS4 game. It's nice to look at. And most importantly, it will basically run on every modern computer and console when it gets ported to that. Although, maybe that's because they decided to put most of the budget in the advertising. I mean, just look at this character trailer that's full-on anime! They did not have to go this hard for this character. The gacha in this game is honestly very generous compared to Genshin, meaning the drop rates are the same. But I did find that rate up 4 stars appeared far more than the non-rate up 4 stars compared to Genshin. The drop rates are rather low, but the pity system that guarantees getting 4-star equipment or characters is still the same. The pity is set at 90 for a 50-50 shot of getting the rate up character. But if you miss, the next chance is guaranteed to be a rate up 5-star. Now if you get a 5-star early and miss the 50-50, that still applies to you rolling for the rate up characters. And the pity does carry over between banners, so the banners are actually very generous. In fact, even the weapon banner is generous, as instead of an increased 50% chance to get a 5-star or 4-star light cone, it's 75%. And if you miss that for the 5-star, the next 5-star light cone is guaranteed to be one on rate up. And your pity carries over to the next banner, so there is actually now a reason to try to go for a character's light cone. And unlike Genshin, you don't have to break your bank all at once to get a light cone, since it will carry over to the next banner. And when you start the game, there is a discount banner for 50 pulls, where you save 2 pulls per multi. And you are guaranteed a 5-star standard character if you reach the maximum amount on that banner. And none of these 5 stars, as of now, are bad in the slightest. They all perform powerful roles. Now you are probably wondering, so how many pulls can I get at the start of the game? Well, from my own experience, you can get around 140 tickets for the standard banner and discount banner, which is enough to guarantee you 1 5-star character and another 5-star character or light cone. And if you get enough jades, where if you go through all the content in 1.0 as of this video, which means going through the story and going through all the side quests, you will have enough jades and special tickets to guarantee 180 pulls, which is enough to hit pity twice and lose the 50-50 on the first one. Meaning that if you start playing this game because a character you saw and liked was on rate up, within 15 to 20 days of playing, that will be enough resources to guarantee you getting the rate up 5-star, even at your worst possible luck, which is insanely generous for the start of a gacha game. I will also note that the standard banner has a numerical pity of up to 300 that doesn't count for its normal pity, which is normally 90. Now this special pity accumulates for a long time, and once you reach 300 wishes on the standard banner, you are able to manually choose any one standard 5-star character that you would like. Now granted, as a free-to-play, this will probably take you somewhere between 8 months to a year, I'd imagine, to be able to do this, but it's still incredibly nice for the banner to have a feature like this. This game is incredibly free-to-play friendly with the amount of currency it gives, as well as how fast your dailies are, and how quick you can use your resin equivalent. And it has a very fun endgame with the simulated universe, which is basically a turn-based roguelike for a limited number of floors. I love how the game rewards you if you play it in the long term, with 5-star equipment thanks to simulated universe. It loads really fast, so logging in and such never feels like a chore compared to Genshin, which does take a while to load due to how huge the map is. I myself absolutely adored how challenging the game could be in the story, but you can reduce the first planet's difficulty if you leveled your relics more than I did. And a number of people like to complain that the game doesn't have enough content. It has over 81 plus hours of content just from the story and side quests alone. And if you don't believe me, I streamed all of version 1.0 on this channel because I love this game that much. So those that say it doesn't have enough content, rush through the game hardcore. Even then, that 81 plus hours was filled with some of the best side quests and story I have seen in the opening arc of any gacha. And that's including Honkai Impact 3rd, which is still my favorite gacha. But this game might just dethrone it. So don't worry, there is over 80 hours of satisfying storytelling, gameplay, and side quests. That is actually something I want to touch on really quickly. The game is rated 12+, and it carries that with it a drop of the hat heavy tone, dealing with darker themes, and it actually giving you choices that can vastly change the outcome of how a side quest or character quest ends. And it's not a small change, oh no. It can change whether a character continues to live, or they completely forget everything that made them unique. Every character or quest I did was engaging, and I wanted to know what happened. These stories and side stories are just, so good. Main story, side story, endgame, all of it is AAA quality and so satisfying. The starter characters are also in fact strong enough to carry you even into the late game. March 7th being a great defender, main character being a really good character at a certain point in the story, and Asta is a fantastic support. And with how much gacha currency you are given, you are more than strong enough to handle the endgame, provided you have the right stats. Not counting Memory of Chaos, as I haven't even touched that yet. I probably won't be able to beat that for, I'd say, 4 or 5 more months. So this game is incredibly free-to-play friendly, giving you all the resources you could possibly need. Really, the only complaint I have at this point is how slow it feels to grind your materials at endgame once you finish the story. It gets pretty resource heavy, but hey, that's gacha in general when you first start out and get higher ranks. In conclusion, is honkaiStarRail worth your time? Absolutely it is! Fantastic characters, engaging story I could not put down, side quests that felt worth it, fun and engaging combat system, really good soundtrack, incredibly free-to-play friendly in terms of the gacha currency they give out, and it's just got me desperately wanting more of everything it has. There are so very few negatives I could throw at this game that it pales in comparison to the overwhelming fun I had streaming this game for 3 weeks. The only cautionary I would throw towards you is to be careful of your spending, to not lose it all to gacha, because that is a very common thing. I absolutely give this game my highest praise I can muster for a gacha game. Absolutely amazing job, Hoyoverse, in creating a new game and blowing it out of the water with your strongest opening act I have ever seen from you. Hey guys, I just wanted to thank you all so much for your time in watching this video this deep. I'm really glad I was able to entertain and inform you enough that you watched all the way to here. And if you can, consider leaving a like and subscribing to me. It really helps the channel out. And hey, leave a comment down below on other stuff related to this game you want to see me cover. Maybe you want to see me go over a character review or some advice I can give for starting out. You can also join my Discord so you can always know what I'm up to. We've got a bit of a wild and fun community in there that loves to discuss anime, games, and overall, just being nice to one another. And if you really want to go above and beyond, consider joining one of my Ko-fi tiers or sending me a donation. Link to all of the above are in the description down below. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!